Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Tom Schmitt, chairman and CEO of Nasdaq-listed Forward Air. We're going to discuss global logistics and the supply chain. Tom, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Jill, thanks for having me.
You got it. And let's talk about the global logistics environment, trends that you're seeing, some of your outlook right now.
So I think we're switching from a home-based economy that was all what we were experiencing for the last 2 years to more of an events-based economy. For us as a business, actually, that's a wonderful thing. We are the fastest, most precise shipping company in the freight business, and we love supplying events. So it's a shift. Some of the home-based economy, appliances, goods overall that go to consumers going down. Events, fortunately, getting back up again.
Yep, certainly, a number of conferences. It kind of feels like it did in 2019 with everyone back together again. So explain to us in more detail what Forward Air does.
So first of all, we don't have any planes, but it's like most American success stories. It's a very simple, compelling idea that 40 years ago my predecessors came up with. They watched commercial airplanes across North America, and then he said, we can actually take air freight out of the bellies of those planes, and we could move it on the ground from one airport to another with precision execution, hitting tight timelines. If it's less than 500 miles, we can actually move the air freight on the same schedule. Otherwise, it's the same schedule plus 1 day, plus 2 days, plus 3 days based on time zone. So we're basically moving air freight forward on the ground, therefore Forward Air.
Right. Oh, that is interesting. It's almost like you were the one of the first to get involved at last mile and really leverage, the time there. What makes Forward Air stand out?
So again, for 40 years in our DNA, we built a muscle to hit airline schedules for high value freight. So we are the fastest across the US. We have least damages because we have 40 years worth of handling that's very, very sensitive and for high value goods. We also hit very, very tight time windows. So think of an event, think of setting up concert tours. We follow artists across the country and we get it there within 15 minutes because that's in our DNA of hitting airline schedules.
So I have to ask you, how did the pandemic impact Forward Air initially?
Initially, it was a bit tough. So this was a bit like when you're in e-commerce, after about 6 weeks of adjusting for everything that was so tough, certainly for Amazon, UPS, FedEx, I mean, they had a boom, right? Because everybody went home and got their goods via those providers. For us, initially, it was the exact opposite. My earnings call started with, Tom, what's wrong with you? Because we supply events. We supply precision execution to retail malls for fashion goods, all of which went temporarily to sleep. So we actually had to go into our Grow Forward program and do good things faster, getting other high value freight like medical equipment, industrial goods, dialed up very quickly to get 2,500 of our teammates who we furloughed initially back into their jobs.
Yeah, well, it really is quite remarkable how companies were able to pivot and innovate as well. So there are some silver linings to it. How did Forward Air get out of the pandemic hole?
Again, we had this, we didn't forecast COVID, but luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. We had a program we called Grow Forward to go after more high value freight and cleanse our network and do this very, very quickly. What we had to do is just do good things faster. Events business temporarily aside, we just dialed up what I just mentioned faster. And we learned new leadership imperatives. For instance, we don't wait. We actually, inside our company, we banned the use of the word wait.
Mm-hmm. And how is Forward Air assessing and preparing for what could potentially be an economic downturn, let's say over the next 12 to 18 months?
So again, we control what we control. I actually said recently on an earnings call, if there's a recession, bring it on. I think the best companies on earth and the best companies in our great country here in the US, we strive when things are tough. So in our case, we did do good things faster. We built this into our DNA. So if there's a recession, bring it on. I have found, Jill, that oftentimes waiting and being paralyzed and waiting for something scary to happen is actually worse than just living through it and getting out stronger at the back end of it.
Yep, those are some of the lessons that we learned through the pandemic. And Tom, to wrap up here, what are your personal beliefs when it comes to leadership, and how has that impacted the way that you lead Forward Air?
So there's a few leadership imperatives that we implemented. A few personally for me stand out. I do believe in what I call managing counter-cyclically, which means if things are super good, like the last year, we all had a great economy giving us a lot of tailwind. That's when actually I am extra tough on expectations. I'm extra tough on performance. When things are really difficult, like they were 2.5 years ago for all of us, in our personal lives and professional lives, that's when you need to make things lighter for others. So always manage counter-cyclically. When things are tough, make things lighter. When things give you a lot of tailwind, that's when you need to be extra tough on expectations and use that tailwind. Another one that's super important is like leaving. This is like a Boy Scout things which I picked up here when I got to the United States 30 some years ago. Leave a place better than you found it. And you can do this every single day in a conversation, in email. You can always choose to actually make these people a little bit better and leave them better than you found them before the conversation, or you can choose not to do that. I just strive to try my very best to choose to make things better and make things a bit lighter, leave a place and people better than you found them before you interacted with them.
Yep, great personal advice as well, Tom. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.